my little hot dogs and hamburgers. Today we're gonna work on fractions and decimals, comparing them and graphing them and seeing where they fit into those number lines. Some of this should seem pretty familiar to you, but we're gonna go over it just the same. Okay, so first we're gonna start with graphing these numbers and their opposite. Graph each number and its opposite, okay? So be careful when you're reading directions and make sure that you see that it says, whether it just says to graph a number or whether it says to graph a number and its opposite. That means you've got to graph two numbers, okay? So let's take a look at A, 3/4. So I'm going to put a 0 right in the middle because when I'm graphing a number and its opposite, I know that I'm going to have equal amounts on each side. All right, this is a positive number, so I'm going to go ahead and graph my positive number first. And I know that 3/4 is it's more than having nothing, so it's more than 0. But it's less than having a whole number of something, a whole one of something. So if I have 3/4 of a pizza, I don't have a whole pizza, but I know I have a part of the pizza. So since I know that it's less than 1, I can put 1 over here. And since I can do that, I know that its opposite is also going to be more than -1. So I can go ahead and do that. Now, since it's a fraction and the bottom is a 4, I know that I need 4 spaces from 0 to 1. So I'm going to break it into quarters. So I've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And I know that if I had a 4th quarter, it would equal 1. And now I'm going to do the same thing on my negative side, but I'm going to remember that they're negatives. So I have -1/4, -2/4, -3/4. Okay, one thing that you can also keep in mind is that remember that 2/4 is 1/2. So if you had broken this into half, 0 to 1 in half, it would be 2/4, okay? All right, so now I'm going to graph my two numbers. So my first number is 3/4. So right there, I'm going to graph it. I'm going to put the dot up here so you can see it better. And then -3/4 right there. Okay, now this time I'm going to do my decimals. So this is -1/6. Okay, so remember, a number and its opposite means I can put the 0 right in the middle, or about in the middle. And then because I'm working with decimals, I'm going to look at that number and I'm going to say, okay, what two numbers does 1.6 fall between? 1.6 falls between 1 and 2, right? Because just ignore the negative for now. Just think about 1.6. If I have 1.6 of something, that means I have a little bit more than 1 of something, but less than 2 of something. So let's go ahead and we will plot 1, -1, because it's a negative number. And then -2. And then right in the middle of that, what would be in the middle? -1.5. That would be the middle number. Okay? So if I do that on the negative side, I could do that on this side too, right? Except they're going to be positives. 1, 1.5, 2. All right, now I can graph my number. So 1.6, where does that fall? It's 1.6 is definitely going to be just a little bit more than 1.5. It's not quite 2, so I need to put my number like right about here. And then again, it would be in between 1.5 and 2, but closer to the negative 1.5 because it's not negative 1.9. That would be closer to the negative 2. But it's only negative 1.6. So it would be right about there. Okay? And then I want you to notice that since I graphed the number and its opposite, if you did it correctly, they should be the same distance from 0. Okay? Notice that this is the same distance from 0 as this. Negative 3 quarters is the same distance from 0 as 3 quarters. Negative 1.6 is the same distance from 0 as 1.6. Okay? So let's go ahead and put a little asterisk there and write, notice they are both the same distance from 0. Because that's important, okay? All right, next example. Example 2. A. Compare negative 1/2 and negative 3/4. All right, so once again, I'm going to use a number line. Here's my number line. And since both of these numbers are negative, I know that I can put my 0 all the way over here. And then I can just work this way. So it looks like I'm using quarters here. That's going to be a good way to do it. So if this is, neither one of these is bigger than 1. So 1 is going to go right here. If I break it in half, sorry, negative 1 is right here. If I break it in half, this is negative 1/2. What would come between 0 and negative 1/2? Negative 1/4. And what would come between negative 1/2 and negative 1? Negative 3/4. Okay, so then I'm going to graph both. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, negative 1/2 is to the right of negative 3/4. So 1/2 is greater, negative 1/2 is greater than negative 3/4. All right, now let's try that again. B. Compare negative 4 5/6 and negative 4 1/6. Once again, I'm going to use my number line to make sure that I'm getting it straight. Number line. Now, in this situation, I don't need a 0 because I can tell that both of these numbers are between two numbers. So, both of these numbers are between negative 4, and negative 5. Okay? So now, I'm working in 6, right? So, if I come here, I've got negative 4 1/6. Now I just work down. Negative 4 2/6. Negative 4 3/6. Negative 4 4/6. Negative 4 5/6. And remember, this is really 2/3. This is really 1/3. All right, then I just graph my two numbers. Okay, so I was looking for -4 and 1/6, so I'm going to put that there. And -4 and 5/6. And now I'm going to say -4 and 5/6 is to the left Remember, left means less, if that helps you remember. To the right, it's more. Left means less. They sound alike, so use that. Is to the left of -4 and 1/6. So, -4 and 5/6 is less than, left means less than, -4 and 1/6. Okay, guys, that is how we compare and order fractions and decimals. If you did not get all of your notes down, make sure you copy them all down now so that you have it to follow. You are going to have a worksheet you can either download and write right on the worksheet, or you can, download and print, or you can do the work on a piece of notebook paper, but either way, you're going to need to scan the work and upload your work, okay? So be careful with that. Make sure you write neat enough that I can read it, otherwise I can't grade it. If I can't read it, it's going to be a 0. Make sure you number your problems and write neat enough that I can read it. Okie dokie.